What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Mylan. Today is Tuesday. It's not the first Tuesday of the month where we normally go live, but we were busy traveling to trade shows. So it is now what, the second, third Tuesday of the month? We're live here. I've got Christian with me because we're here to talk about some in-depth marketing ops stuff.
That's right. I'm happy to be here. So hopefully we get a great discussion in store for you guys.
So for those of you that are new to the content, we go live once a month now. It used to be every week, but we are just super swamped. And so we go live once a month. I've got a YouTube channel with over 2,000 videos on it. We post content every single day. And the purpose here is to bring you guys stuff that we do at a marketing agency level for a lot of clients at scale and bring you guys that knowledge so that way you can adapt it into your processes, learn from us, and hopefully get some successes, right? That's the goal.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
I'm excited about today's topic because there's so much boring stuff out there.
Yeah.
Boring emails, boring content,
Yeah.
boring offer. B2B should be like boring to boring.
Boring to boring.
So we're here to change that, right, Kyle?
That sounds like a dad joke.
I got
Christian's got so many dad jokes, and it's just an internal joke around here. Yep. So yeah, I would agree with you. So today's topic is about creating an offer. And you guys may be thinking, like, what do you mean, man? I've got offers, or what do you mean, man? Our business can't have offers. Like, there's no way to get creative. We're going to dive into it. But before we get into how to create the offer, I feel like we got to take like 3 steps back. So what we're talking about is offers when it comes to cold outreach, email marketing, trying to get attention from people that are already getting attention from everybody else in a noisy market. So if we take a step back and we say, you need to, like, cold email marketing is actually increasing over the last couple of years of effectiveness because of AI going through and hitting on search and the zero click type of environment that we're in. Everybody's out there, not just us. Everybody out there from HubSpot to everybody bigger than HubSpot is saying email marketing is becoming more effective. So when we take a step back and say, how do you first, like, let's start with like the basics of, I don't know. I feel like let's start with the basics of like inbox placement, inbox setup. Christian, run people through how we do things here a little bit different than most.
Yeah, sure. So rule number 1 is that we don't use our typical inbox that we use every day, right? We don't send emails from that inbox. Why? Well, because sending a lot of emails, if you're sending a large amount of emails from your typical day-to-day use inbox, can hurt your inbox reputation, your domain reputation. So those AI filters that companies are using now to filter out emails might hurt you. So even emails that you're sending on a day-to-day basis, like invoices, emails to existing customers, and so forth, could get affected. So rule number 1 is to not use your daily use business inbox. So we create multiple inboxes on different domains to be able to send out emails to cold contacts.
Yeah. And so with that, it's like, if you're abccompany.com and you're sending emails normally, a lot of agencies will come in, or even marketing people come in and be like, dude, I'm going to send out so many emails from Joe at abc.com. And then you're going to break the domain, and then your normal stuff won't be sending and being delivered. That's what Christian's saying. And so what we do is we grab 3 to 5 domains. We purchase them similar to your company, and then we create up to 5 email addresses at each of those domains, because we're trying to do this at scale, not send 100 emails a month. We're trying to send 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. The only way to do that and actually have it stick is by having multiple domains and multiple email addresses per domain. Right.
And then the second aspect to that is a what we call the warm up or ramp up period. So once you get all of those new boxes on a different domain, that's not your main domain. So you have to let the process run for at least 3 to 4 weeks. So your new email inboxes get and form a reputation with the email service providers. So essentially, we're just sending out messages to different email addresses on different boxes. So that way they can start building up a reputation that they are sending content that people want to read. And then different platforms do it differently. We try to use the same copy we're going to use for the actual emails that are going out with the offers and everything. So we can actually warm up the inboxes with the actual messages that we are going to send. Obviously, all the email providers out there are getting more and more intelligent, right? Using AI, they are figuring out stuff quicker. So we have to get, be a step ahead of the game. So that's why we are always looking for new ways, different ways to warm up inboxes and do it in a efficient way.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a cat and mouse game that we're playing, right? And it's like we right when we figure it out, it's like nope, the ESPs or email service providers have a new AI program that's catching that stuff. So then we have to adjust and adapt and then change our strategy a little bit. But that core fundamental of don't send it from your normal email domain and have multiple email domains with multiple email addresses and the warm up, those things are crucial to success. If you don't warm it up, then and the way it's warmed up is warmed up in a system, sending emails with the copy and the offer to email addresses that the system owns. So that way it can mark it as read, scroll through it, say it's important, et cetera, to then train Google or Microsoft Outlook that these are good emails before you go and start to ramp up with actual outbound. But that if you skip that key, if you rush that step of it and say, no, it's good. It's been warming up for 7 days, it's good. You're just going to delay when like the amount of time it takes for it to become effective, essentially, right?
Yep. And
Yeah.
here, the patient is king, right? It's kind of like counterintuitive, but if you start sending out, let's say 10, 20, 30 emails per day per inbox, uh, as the warm up, that's gonna break your inbox as well. So you have to start slow. Start one email per day per inbox, and then gradually keep going up every week. And that's why the systems we use take care of that for us, and we can adjust the parameters so they can go up in a very natural way.
Yeah, that's how we're able to do it at scale is systems that we use and licenses that we buy. And then even when we don't have a system out there, or when there wasn't a system out there that was good enough, Christian created our own proprietary system. And it worked good. Like
Mhm.
it's just that simple of slowly warming up. So if you just Google search warm up inbox, you'll see all of the programs out there you can use. Super important to do. So now that you're like, hey, I've got my domain set, I've got my inbox warmed up, I want to start writing copy. This is where it gets boring typically.
Yeah, it does.
And then this is where we want to go through what is the offer. So what points do you have behind it before we dive into it?
So here's what I'm thinking. I think anything out there, any business out there can turn something boring or a product that's unsexy into
Yeah.
something that's really appealing, right? Because there's somebody that needs, right? There's a business out there, there's a person, an engineer, a CEO, a CFO that needs the product or the solution that you are selling. So it is attractive to someone, it is appealing to someone. But the issue is that when you start writing an email, you have to know and understand what the other party needs before you start, sending out emails. So that's a key component: understanding what their need, what their pain point is, before you start, writing an email, so you understand what you're offering.
Yeah.
And then another thing I would say is that there is something. Every team, every sales team has a way to overcome objections. So if you think about those objections as you're writing your offer, your email copy, you will definitely end up with a better, more robust copy that attracts cold contacts.
Yeah. And that's where, like Christian's saying, is that's where usually I feel like, at least in my experience, people are like, no, like we can't think of something. Right. And so in the past, it's like, all right, everybody, let's sit in a room. And it doesn't matter what your business is, tech, non-tech, consumer, business, right? It does not matter. You have to have some sort of offer. In the past, people would sit in a room and be like, what do you think? And everybody just comes with their mind. But with AI these days, it's like so ridiculously easy. Using something like even a free, I don't know what free versions of GPT get you these days, because we've got some pretty heavily paid ones. But even a version of free or $30 a month paid GPT or Gemini or Perplexity, anything out there is better than nothing. You can just ask it like, hey, this is what we do. Here's my website. I'm going to be doing some cold email marketing and I want to create some offers. Give me some ideas. And you as the expert should be able to look at those and be like, is that realistic? Because it'll come with crazy ideas of like, here's a great offer and we think it'll work. But if you that know the customer don't think that the customer will value that, GPT and AI doesn't know the customer unless you told it an extensive amount of information about it. You're the guardian of saying if that's valuable or not, and then refining it from there. But I feel like it's so easy these days with AI to be able to just say, I can create 10 different types of offers if I massage it and work with it, with the prompting, with what they respond with giving it more information. I feel like it's super easy.
It is, yeah. And we're gonna make it even easier for our people out there today. We're gonna give you five principles, five things you can use in your prompting to generate that kind of offer.
Okay.
So I think we can start with number one. So this is all based on Alex Hormoz's $100 million dollar offers.
Yeah.
Is that the right title of the book?
Yeah. $100 million
Yeah.
offers. Yeah.
So definitely 5 principles that you should use when you're crafting your offers. And then number one is lead with the biggest pain. And one of the things that you have to do is just make the email, the copy, relatable to whoever's going to read it, so they can see themselves in the email copy, right? So they know that they can relate to it. So Kyle, can you give us an example on how we can lead with the biggest pain?
I mean, you gotta think about depending on the industry that you're in and the job title you're going after, put yourself in those situations of what do you think is something that's relevant and that is most likely a common problem that most people are dealing with that would catch their attention, but not in my opinion, not take it as far as, oh, but this industry doesn't deal with that very exact situation. Like, even if that's not their biggest pain, maybe it once was, it's relevancy.
Yep.
So I feel like even coming with the biggest pain, like depending on the situation, the biggest issue that our clients have is knowing what to do with marketing, because there's just a million different things, or knowing how to execute it and generating results. Like all they want is leads and deals. So we can push on that pain point of so many different areas. We can say, talk about AI. We can talk about things that we're seeing in the industry that are proving more effective with outbound email or with inbound, or the change of AEO, SEO to AEO. All these different things. We can grab any one of those and test it, right? Essentially.
Exactly. So the key here is actually making the copy talk to that person, right? You have to lay it out in simple words, no fluff, just direct to the point, so the person can, in a few seconds, when they glance on the email, understand, yeah, this is talking to me because I'm going through that.
Yeah, you lead with that pain, because if you if you look at it, and I was just in a meeting going through 3 different clients, and we were talking about performance related things, and so there's so many variables when it comes to email marketing, and with the offer is number one, it says the email was sent but wasn't delivered. You don't know. You send it to 1,000 people, it says, yep, send it to 1,000. You don't know if it was delivered or not. That's inbox deliverability. That goes back to inbox placement. That goes back to warming up, having different domains, etc. Then you've got open rate that typically would justify to the subject line. Oh, I got a high open rate. Okay, cool. Your subject line is good, but you have a low click rate. Well, then your copy is probably bad, or you have low leads, response rate, etc. Well, maybe it's not relevant. And so that offer to me has to be hit maybe in the subject line without sounding too cheesy, but at least at the top, like, hey, do you deal with this issue? And then just what's the pain point? And then here's our solution to it, right? Hit them with relevancy and then offer up the offer after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then a key thing is also to use the jargon that the industry you're writing to uses. So if you're writing to other industrial companies, don't use the terms like inefficiency or processes. You know, you have to use something like factory jam, things that they are used to talking and reading about, so that way they can definitely, be and see themselves in that email.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than somebody being like, and I get them all the time. We help agencies do X, Y, and Z, or we start getting near a trade show and they see that they've got a list of people that register for a trade show. Are you interested in shipping products and shipping your items to the trade show? We see you're listed as an exhibitor. They could be super spammy, and once you get enough of those, you just choose to ignore them. So like, who's going to be the person that's going to get me to use them to ship our booth stuff down to some state for a trade show is going to be the person that actually does something different than the generic offer, which is, let us give you a price. And that's what it comes down to, is relevancy, like what he's saying. So relevant to their situation, and then what's the pain point that's different than what everybody else is saying.
All right. If we move on to number 2, is the second principle to write excellent copy and offers for cold contacts is to stack wild value. So what does that mean? So in the email, Now you have addressed the pain point. So what are you doing to fix that pain point, and how you're doing it in a way that you're differentiating yourself from the other competitors that are offering the same thing. So Kyle, what's a good example of
Oh,
that?
jeez. I don't even know what that means, man. Stacking what?
Wild value. So
Wild value. Okay, so are we talking like social proof, or are we talking like some insane claim?
social proof, insane claim, what you've done before for other
Okay.
clients, what are you offering to do for them?
Yeah, so you could say something like, after you hit that pain point, I wouldn't want to say like, we've helped companies just like yours increase their X, Y, and Z by X, Y, and Z percentage, or solve this problem. So sticking with relevancy, you got to say like, either in my opinion, tuned to your experience, or things that you've accomplished in the space, or something that is directly related to that pain. So you could say, here's a pain point, and here's a company, social proof. Here's a company that we helped, and it doesn't have to be a specific name. You can just say a company in this industry which you're in or which you're adjacent to, and we help them increase X, Y, and Z by 368%, or we help them reduce something by X percentage. So like some big claim or wild claim, I feel like going with that. We've got a client that does industrial lights, and so um, what most companies would do with industrial lights is like, hey, we care about energy, right? And like, we're going to save you energy. Nope, not this company. This company is smart enough, and which is why we love working with them. They're smart enough to say that they kind of care about energy, but what they care more about is downtime. And downtime comes from lights resistant to hazardous conditions and extreme conditions that are in the environment, and burning out. And when a light bulb does burn out at 130 feet in the air, shout out to our guys over there at that company, they have to shut down an entire area of the plant, and that takes hours. So their claim is not about the kilowatts per hour that you can save, or money per year that you can save, or even not even necessarily that their lights will last longer. Because it's like, oh, your lights last longer, but I've got old fixtures, and so I can't shut down my plant for days with or weeks with to replace all these fixtures, or months. And it's like, oh, don't worry about it. Ours is a retrofit and just snaps right in. It takes like 2 minutes. Plus, it's lighter, so it lasts longer. It's lighter, and it's brighter, and it also fits within your existing structure, and you don't have to change or rewire anything, and no outside contractors. It's like, that's a no brainer. So at that point, it's just like, get that offer and get that copy in front of people, and it should be slam dunk.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into the third principle, which is add urgency.
Yeah,
At some point, everyone has a need, but not everyone has the same need at the same time.
right,
That's why we want to go after a lot of people to try to hit the ones that have the need right now.
right.
And if you add urgency to your offer, maybe you can ask, what was the last report showing that you lost X or Y or Z,
Yeah.
on what's your boss, right, asking you about. So if you try to add that urgency tied to your offer, that's going to help a lot. What examples can you think of that?
I mean, the biggest one for urgency that I have always come across that I feel like is the easiest is end of year urgency,
Mm.
to spend that money, because you want to spend that money before you report it on taxes. You do not want to carry over too much. I don't care how big of a business you are. Every size company goes through it. We want to spend X amount of dollars to reduce our overall bill. So we need to do end of year capital expense type things, buy the machine that's going to come, buy the equipment that's going to come in January, but invoice me in 2025 versus 2026. I want to spend that money. I feel like end of year, end of quarter, end of a cycle is usually the most common. Like, hey, the time's right now. Think of like Black Friday. Like, it's a discount on this day. So it has to be this day because it's for the next holiday. Like, you're getting gifts for people for the next holiday. So it's like sense of urgency. Like, you gotta go, you gotta go. And then it's like, we're not gonna be in stock, right? Products out of stock. We don't have any time. I mean, those are like the most common things that people touch on.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking also like a cybersecurity company, right? There's a lot of urgency into patching whatever needs to be patched
Oh yeah.
and closing all the doors that could be open that you don't even know of.
Yep.
So adding sense of urgency, if you are a cybersecurity company, if you offer a SaaS product or a service, you want to key into that pain, that relevancy, but also the urgency to do it. Because if you leave that door open, that back door open to hackers, going in, it's going to cost eventually the company more money. So with whatever product or service you are selling, there's some sense of urgency that people need to act on, by the way.
Yeah, and I feel like doing it without being like fear based,
Right.
right? So like that's where a lot of marketers will go fear based. I prefer not to, but sometimes you have to do a little bit of fear, a little bit of fear mongering. That never hurt anybody.
Yeah, Neil Patel said it on the conference, right, at Inbound a couple of weeks
Oh
ago.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was like, use fear, but use it responsibly,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it still
exactly.
works.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then the fourth principle is to force the choice. So essentially, try to get a yes from that email. Make it easy
Yeah.
to compare A versus B, current state versus ideal state. So what can we say about that, Kyle?
Elaborate more. What do you mean by say yes? Like get them to say yes to start building the confidence of them believing in you.
Yeah, making it a no-brainer, right? Like, this is your pain, this is your circumstance, this is
Yeah.
how urgent you have to act on, and then there's a no-brainer choice you have to make here. How do we make it easy for them to say yes?
I think it's the lowest amount of friction on what the offer is and the easiest deliverability of that offer. So if it takes the least amount of their time, they don't have to do anything except for like something super minimal, and then they get something of value in return. I feel like that goes to the offer of if my offer is I want you to fly out to me to be on our show, that's not going to get a good yes, right? But if I'm like, hey, all you got to do is click this, and then we'll take care of the rest, and we're going to book all your stuff, and the car will show up at this time and fly you to me if that's what needs to happen. I mean, that's an easy yes, and we're going to pay for it, and we've already checked your calendar and with your spouse and got it approved.
Yep.
That could be one way to do it.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me of removing risk, right, on what we're offering. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
try it free, 90 days, your money back to you if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Some sort of guarantee or claim, again, that makes the decision just easy. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's no risk in me doing this, me trying this, so why not, right? That's the mindset that we want to get the reader of that email in, so they can just say yes, reply yes quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and get them to just think of it as like this is like, what do I have to lose? This is easy. If I do this thing, if I hit this offer, maybe it does take a little bit of time. Like, not everything's free, and there's no such thing as a free lunch. And even a lot of times, free things, people are like, "Yeah, I want that for free." And they don't do anything with it. I don't know how many things I've put my information in to get that thing for free, and then I don't even use it because I've got so many free things. And what I pay attention to most of the ones that are paid, because I know that I've spent money on it. So not making it easy, but it still has to be valuable, I guess, is in the end. Like from anybody out there in any business, you can create some sort of checklist. Like, hey, get my checklist on the 7 things to X, Y, and Z, or ways to audit this, or ways to increase your efficiency here. Anybody can create a checklist for anything. And if you're like, I don't know, use an AI program, it'll give you a checklist, and then just create it. But if I get a checklist and I don't use it, then it's worthless. Right. So you got to make sure the offer is valuable, easy for them to say yes, and that it's something that has low drag for them to implement, ideally, where they don't have to do much work. And then you're kind of leading the storm from there.
Very well. And then the last one is keep it simple. So when we're talking about copy,
are we talking like the KISS principle of like keep it simple, stupid?
Yeah, I left an S out, but we can add it for sure.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. So when we talk about the subject, the copy, the actual offer itself, right? Even the outreach, the amount of emails you're sending, ideally we have to keep it simple. Why do you think that's the case?
I mean, I think that as you overcomplicate it, AI programs are probably going to pick up on it, right? And be like, this is spammy garbage. You want to make it direct to the point because of the attention span of people. And you want to keep it simple to where they're not lost in it. Like, if you go through this big, long story, people are not going to see maybe the offer or perceive value behind it or see your hook or relevancy, and they're just gonna be like, oh, this is too long, I don't have time for it, and just click off. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking the exact same thing. Like, if you're writing to CEOs, to the C-suite, to VPs, they don't have time to be reading emails.
Yeah,
they're probably going to do it, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, when they're doing something else, and they're just skimming through their messages. So if you can get their attention in 1, 2, 3 sentences, then you got them, right? But a long, lengthy, wordy email is really not gonna hit the mark.
Yeah. And I did that. A newer client of ours, I hit him with the subject line was so out there and powerful for that person that he read the email instantly and called me on my cell phone on a Friday. Right. It's because I hooked them that hard with the subject line.
Mhm.
And so yeah, CEOs, presidents, anybody up there, or even like busy engineers, busy managers, busy people in SaaS, salespeople, marketing people, whoever you're trying to go after, everybody's busy. So it's like, how do you stand out? Number one, to not be the same as everybody else, but stand out enough to be remembered. And then that's what's going to hook them in to be like, all right, I'm going to read those 3 sentences. Your stuff better be on point. Cause if when they get in those first 2 sentences, if it sucks, if it's like, hey, at Milan Media, we've been helping companies like yours for the last 10 years and blah, 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 that those intros suck. And they will be like, nope, skip next. I don't need it. But if you start with something punchier, like, do you think that your marketing sucks right now? Question mark. Like they're gonna be like, oh, dude. And then they maybe read further. And then my offer could be a free marketing assessment. And all I need from you is 45 minutes of your time. And I'm gonna give you like an 8-page document saying what you should do for the next 12 months to increase your marketing. Right. That's an active campaign that we have where we hit people with that. And the offer is a free 45-minute call to go through a discovery initially, and then we create like I think it's 4 to 6 page strategy of where to focus for the next 12 months, completely free. All it costs you is 45 minutes of your time. I mean, and at that point, they could take that strategy and run with it, or maybe they're like, "Hey, I just want you to implement it," or maybe they just don't do anything with it. But at least we're providing them with some sort of value.
Yep, definitely. So remember those 5 principles. Let's go over them, list them real quick.
Go for it. Straight to that camera.
Just to keep them in mind, right?
Point number one.
Point number 1, lead with the biggest pain. Point number 2, provide a lot of value on your offer. Number 3, add urgency. Number 4, you have to force the choice, make it easy for them to say yes. And number 5, keep it simple. So
keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna say it, not Christian.
So how about if we go into some real life examples, Kyle? What would you do if you were the marketer of a company, if you were the guy that they hired to take their offer out there?
So if you guys are whoever's watching this live, and I know we were late to send out invites, but anybody watching this live or even on the replay, put your company's situation, what your product is, what your service is, in the comment section, and we'll give you an offer live, or we'll do it on replay through comments. But let's look at us, for instance, because I feel like there's a lot of marketing agencies out there. I feel like they all do the same thing essentially, right? We're here to market you. We're going to make you the best. We can have a lot of different offers, but what is a pain point? So right now, and coming out of Inbound that Christian and I have spent a week at in San Francisco, the first week of September, and then I was at FabTech last week at the trade show for the first half of the week. The big talk and everything that's going on is AEO, or AI engine optimization, or AIO as Neil Patel calls it, AI overview, and like what's happening to my search results. And so the hook could be, and I feel like this would be super relevant. The way I would position it is, have you seen a 10 to 30% reduction in organic traffic in the last 6 months? And anybody in marketing would be like, yes, I have, if you're paying attention to it. And then it's, can we do an AEO audit or grade of your current website to see how you're showing up in AI? Everybody knows that's in marketing paying attention. 0-click is the thing, meaning people type in a phrase, type in a question, looking for your services, your products, etc. AIO, Gemini's AI overview, shows up, and they don't have to click because they got their answer. And so even if you go and Google search 0-click, you'll see everybody talking about it, right? And so since it's out there, relevant pain point right now, going into 2026, I would want to offer, hey, is this relevant to you? And if it is, here's some social proof for the wild claim. We help this company go from reaching the top 2 positions in the overview on the right-hand side with links, or get cited in it out of these major competitive keywords. Are you open to doing a quick AEO audit checklist? And then it's just like, if you are, click this link. That link takes you to a form. You punch in your website, first name, last name. You get a report when it's done. Now I can follow up with you from there. I can see who clicked, who filled out, and I can follow up with you. That's like a super easy one. Strategies, checklists, audit your website performance, all those things I feel like are the easiest examples. I think where people struggle is like, I've got this complex thing that I'm selling that's like super in depth and it's very techy. How could I possibly, like, let's say if you have a machine, if you're selling a machine, Christian, what's an offer?
But first thing that comes to mind is what I have to understand. What does my machine do, right? For
Right.
people, what is the end result? What are they gonna be generating, creating, fabricating? What are they gonna be selling, right? And then I can just say, hey, how much are you producing now? Is your production output, less than what it was before, or is your maintenance or is maintenance cost eating on your revenue?
Yeah.
So I would try to get to that pain point where I know my machine is way better than his machine. It doesn't matter the details, the engineering, or
Yeah.
how the microns are being output. So the idea is to figure out how can I get them to the better state, to the ideal state with my equipment, I would say.
Yeah, and then your offer could be something like so what's super common in the tech space is calculators, worksheets, right? Go to this site, do this calculation. You can say how many parts are you making a year, how much money are you spending on this, and then in the background, your calculation says, well, our piece of equipment would save you this much dollars. I think that in general, creating the offer for those of you that are doing it from scratch, which I think is a lot of people, you have to look at I look at it as two offers. What's an offer I can do today, low drag, low friction? I don't have to do a bunch of crazy stuff versus an offer that I want ideal state, a calculator, a tool, a guide, some sort of complex, like you put in information, I then read it, send you back something for free. Those things I feel like plan for those and 60, 90, 120 days or further, depending on the complexity behind it. But don't use that as like, I don't have that. Therefore, I can't do email marketing until that's done. There is something that could be low drag right now that you can do for your customers. That's not just here's a tool to use. It's got to be something where an assessment or something that's going to be not a big deal by you offering up for free, but something that you can scale. And that's one key is like if my only offer is an audit and strategy on your marketing and I'm the only one that can do it, then I can't scale that as much as if it was you punch in this information and we have this program that spits it out that I can scale to the moon and it just keeps on going and it goes into funnels and automation and workflows, etc. But you have to make it to where it is somewhat scalable, right? To whatever scale you want to take it, whether it's 100 people a month or 1,000 people a month, the offer has to be scalable. Here's some good ones. So like cybersecurity services, and I just went into ChatGPT. I'm using ChatGPT 5. We've got a team license. We spend lots of money with them a month. But cybersecurity services, everybody knows cybersecurity, blocking spam from coming to your site. So a bad offer would be contact us to discuss security solutions, right?
Maybe boring. That sounds very boring.
Yeah, you need like a boring bud.
Yeah,
that's what we should do. We should have people come. We should do like a live call-in show and have people like come through and call in, and then you're like boring. It's like so that's super common though. Like reach out to me, book time here. That's not an offer. Like an offer is not getting them to just fill out a form for you to talk to them. So super common with that. Contact us to discuss security solutions and maybe learn why we're the best security solution company in the world. What a better one could be, get a free dark web scan to see if your company's data is exposed right now. That's pretty good. Now, keep in mind, this was like 30 seconds, quick prompt, and I use this stuff every single day. And even still, maybe it takes you 60 seconds to get to it. Quick prompt, here's my situation, give me some examples of bad and good. Financial advisor, okay, wealth management. Bad would be schedule a consultation. How many times have you seen like schedule a consultation?
A million times.
Websites have it. That's a call to action. Emails, schedule looking forward to consultation, book time on my calendar here. So you're like putting all of the work on the person. You haven't even given any value yet. I'll give you value on the call, not beforehand though. I'm going to give you value on the call. It's like, no, give them value now to get them to do the call. A better way to do that is access our 10-minute retirement readiness quiz and get a personalized score instantly. I mean, that's pretty good.
That sounds way better for sure.
And this gave me 10 examples from all different industries. And I'm sure if I honed in on it and gave it some, like what you said, current state, what is the customer pain points? What do they typically deal with? What's your value versus your competitors? What separates you? Put all that information into it and then say, and I want to create a couple different offers, low drag, stuff I can do today not building out massive forms and calculators and stuff today, you'd be shocked at how creative it can get. And the last one that I'll share, let's see, ecom. Oh, here you go. I've never heard of this one before. Roofing company, home construction. And I feel like if we go vague with stuff that you guys can relate to, it's like easier than me going like super specific on you sell candy bars, right? So imagine a construction or home services and you're a roofing company, you're going door to door. That happens. I'm sure you get hit.
Yeah,
too.
I get like 5 of those a week.
Yeah. Do you still?
Yeah.
See, I usually get it during like hail season, and they come by and they're like, hey, sir, we just fixed Billy Bob's. We're doing Billy Bob's roof down the street, and wanted to stop by. And he said that you'd be interested. And I'm like, man, you know Billy Bob down the street, or I'll be like, what's the last name? And then they're like, I don't know. So imagine a roofing company. Contact us for a quote. Comes in an email on a website. Hey, contact us for a quote. Click this button to book time for me to come out and see you. What if it said, get a free drone roof inspection video?
Ooh, that sounds sketchy.
See the footage before you decide. So let me fly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fly a drone on your roof, because we're not going up there together. And I'm not going to be like, yeah, you need a new roof from down here. I'm going to fly a drone up there, and then I'm going to grab that footage and throw it onto a computer. I'm going to come inside and sit down with you, and I'm going to show it to you. And maybe I'll let you fly the drone.
Wow. That right there is a
That's an offer.
That's an incentive. Yeah.
What are you thinking about those?
Yeah, I like those. Definitely, you got to get creative, right? Because like I said, I get a bunch of people selling roofs and roof repair services. I'm even getting text messages from them right now. They're getting a bit more up to date with their marketing. Yeah. But still, it's like the same, boring offer. But things like that where you involve the person and you show them the value right up front, definitely that's a game changer.
Yeah, this is something that we've dealt with a lot over the last year when it comes to clients thinking like, hey, nothing I do is cool. I don't know what the offer could be. We have to get super creative. It's so much easier now with AI to where we've built programs and customized things to where we can get offers a lot quicker and then test it out and see if it works. But like an offer for us could be like we created custom GPTs. We can put those out to the public. So like, what if we created an offer GPT and we made it public and we trained it off of what we know, and then you just use it and you say, hey, here's how I want to create an offer. That would be beneficial to you, right? And so if I marketed to you and sent you an email and said, hey, you're probably having an issue with email marketing deliverability. It could be to the offer because you guys don't have anything creative. I've created this tool. Click on it and you'll be able to use it for free. But to get access, I want this, and that. Maybe like if it's on a website, I want your first name, last name, email, company, etc. But if it's through email, just click it and you can start using it for free for 7 days. And then let me know how you like it. And I'm going to charge you $100 a month or not. Maybe it's just free forever. But like, you got to get creative with AI these days. It's too easy to get creative. You just got to force it.
Yeah, for sure. How about we do this, Kyle? That sparked an offer in my mind. Whoever is watching the live now and they comment their industry, we're going to create an offer GPT for them. Whoever comments now on the live, they have how many minutes can we give them?
Yeah, we can take a short break. Short bio break. We've been going for 50 minutes. I feel like there's a lot of value in this. Maybe you guys are like, you guys suck, and maybe nobody's watching it, but they're watching on replay. But yeah, I feel like we just like, but now Christian's just offering up a massive offer. So what you're saying is whoever's says their industry and they want an offer GPT, that we're gonna make them a custom GPT to use for their industry.
That's right, but only for live, only for people that are tuned in live.
Okay, if you're not
watching the replay, maybe we can do something for you.
Yeah.
Send us a message.
Yeah, leave a comment. All right, guys, we'll be right back and see if anybody's live watching and wants us to create a custom GPT. Apparently, All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully you like that short FabTech 2025 video that Laura and the team made. So per the rules, if you guys are just joining, we will create a custom GPT for you, for your industry, for your company, that creates offers and generates ideas for you to offer with your email marketing, websites, etc. But first, before we go to anybody that commented live with that, Christian's going to go through the five. What are these? The five
principles of
Ooh.
creating an amazing, attractive offer.
All right,
Even if your product is not that cool.
Even if your product sucks and is boring, you can make it cool with Christian's 5 principles of making shit cool.
All right. So, principle number 1 for creating an offer that attracts and gets to the cold context so they can't ignore. Number 1, lead with the biggest pain. Number 2, stack that offer with a lot of value. Number 3, add urgency to your offer. Number 4, force the choice to be yes. Make it easy for them to say yes. And number 5, keep it simple. Keep the copy simple, keep the offer simple, and keep everything that you're doing with the outreach, the amount of emails you're sending, simple as well.
All right, you heard it here first. Christian's 5 principles to not make your offer suck at M2, aka Milo Media. All right, Laura, do we have any comments, questions, concerns before we jump off? Laura says we got nothing. You guys are all busy. I know that it's Tuesday, middle of September, trying to close out Q3 strong. So you're out there hustling. Anybody that's watching on replay, if you put a comment that says, I want an offer, or I want the offer, let's just say I want an offer, then maybe we'll give you access to a proprietary tool that we use here that we've built. And I feel like there's going to be more of that to come. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow Christian on LinkedIn. He is the dog dad. He has 27 dogs in his house. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, I have one. He's like 27 though.
Yeah, he is. He's
very energetic.
Crazy. Christian's dog is crazy, but he's super, super cool. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, both mine and Milo Media. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow Christian on LinkedIn, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.